you have your left kidney, and then you have your right kidney. Why is the right kidney is lower than the left?
Because they can't rub. I don't know.
Because the liver occupies most of it on the right-hand side. So if you look at that figure over there, you can see, or that torso, you can see how your right kidney is lower, right? So it's very, because of the presence of the liver. This, of course, is known as the ureter. This provides us a conduit for urine to flow, and it goes out, bring it back to the base of the organ that is stored the urine. This is known as urinary bladder. And a structure that allows urine to leave. And this is known as the urethra. The male urethra is used both for removing or allows urine to flow out, but the male urethra also allows us the ways for sperm or semen to flow out during sexual excitement and orgasm. The female urethra is only dedicated for the urinary system, but female urethra is shorter than the male urethra, so female can prone to get an infection at the urethra. Okay, it's called urinary tract infection. If you don't control that, you can develop pelvic inflammatory disease. But the bulk that we're going to see is studies here. Start out, very important to know the functions of the urinary system. Functions of the urinary system, and that is the kidney regulates the blood. Does anybody know how the kidney regulates the blood? Kidney regulates the blood because the kidney secrete EPO. What is erythropoietin? Stimulates the red blood cells development, erythropoiesis. So that's how the urinary system are able to regulate blood. Because it's very important to note that if your blood pressure is low, the kidney cannot do its function, which is to remove waste. Right? The other important functions of the urinary system that is involved in the induction, or you can say, let's say induction of vitamin D activation. So we see that the activation. Vitamin D is very important for absorptions of calcium through the small intestine, right? But the precursors of vitamin D is cholesterol. But cholesterol usually goes to the skin, precursor of vitamin D to skin to be activated, which is actually goes to the liver to be modified, and then it goes to kidney to make it more mature forms of vitamin D, calcidiol. Okay? It also plays an important role in gluconeogenesis, which is the way to generate new glucose. And what the glucagon does is that it stimulates the kidney involved in gluconeogenesis. It actually, major function you can say is detoxify, all right, to remove toxins from your blood, eliminate the waste, regulate sodium and potassium, and finally what it does is control the pH in your body. Control the pH. Now the pH, if you have low pH, this usually means that your hydrogen ion concentration is very high.
Okay. Is it acidic?
It's acidic, yeah. You can try to remove some of that hydrogen ion indirectly by coupling it with carbon dioxide or bicarbonate, and you can expel it out. But the only system on our body, the kidney, can get rid of the hydrogen ions directly. Okay, so that's why. So you put them all these together, you can say the function is big des C. Okay, big des C. That's how you remember it.
Professor, eliminate what?
Waste. Nitrogenous waste like ammonia, urea,
And sodium
Correct.
and potassium.
aldosterone regulates sodium.
What regulates sodium? Aldosterone.
Aldosterone, kidney, reabsorb sodium. Sodium and potassium is yin and yang, by the way, right? So intracellularly, you can see high potassium level and low sodium level. Extracellularly, you might see high sodium and low potassium. And so when the body takes up sodium, it's get rid of potassium. Alrighty, now, can everyone come up here then? So what I'd like you to do is to study these models. Just let me get yourself oriented. That of course this is the kidney. It has a nice membrane cover that. This is known as the renal capsule. The kidney is divided so that you can really see a lighter region. So again, this is known as the renal cortex, and the layer underneath, or the region underneath, is known as the renal medulla. In the medulla, you can see this particular region that looks like a triangle now, but you got to think that this is three-dimensionally, right? So imagine that it comes out like this. It would look like a pyramid. Sorry. I think. Oh, here. This is a beautiful model too. So you can see that. In fact, it does look like a pyramid, like this. A pyramid section. So in fact, that's what we call it. We call them the renal pyramid. Here's one pyramid. Here's another pyramid. Between that, this is known as a renal column. The renal column that you see here. Okay? So the renal pyramid would then sort of like help divides the kidney into different regions. If you want, you can say, oh, here's one lobe, here's another lobe, here's another lobe, here's another lobe. Okay? So the renal pyramid and the renal columns here that separates them makes it into different lobes. Okay? And the significance of that is we're going to see a little bit. Okay. Now, what happened is that the renal pyramid has a base, and it comes down to a point. You see here? This point is known as the nipple, or the renal papillae. Okay? And if you look at these renal pyramid, they all have tube that goes down there. So these two, particularly here, you see here, this is